Hold on. Hello everybody and welcome to Apex Racing TV for a very special broadcast of the Oceanic F1 Championship from the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. My name is Andrew Woodhouse and I'm joined by Samuli Kumo and Scott Newton. And Sam, I'll bring you in first, mate. We were here at Spa for the V8 Supercar Series here and we had a fantastic race, so we're looking forward to a good one here.
Yeah, we've been here quite often recently, and I think we've not had the F1 cars very often on the Apex Racing TV, so this will be a welcome change of pace. So far this is just a one-time event, but we'll see what happens in the future. This is a new series, this is their first race, so we are excited to see where this series will go.
And Scott, obviously, is your part of the world. This, my friend, Friday night in Australia. What do you expect from this new series?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, definitely expecting some good things from this series. It's great to see a great Australian contingent turning up for the Formula 1 Oceanic Championship, as normally there isn't a Formula 1 Championship based in this time zone, so it's great to see such a participation, and looking forward to the series.
We've got a 55-minute race today. So slightly unusual in terms of the length. It's about the same length as the iRacing Grand Prix Series races, so I'm sure we'll see what's going on. We've had an hour's qualifying actually, and we have 34 cars that hopefully will be able to start this race. We've seen quite a few spins and things in qualifying as the drivers are trying to get up to speed. 22 degrees is the air temperature, 26 is the track temperature, so and just to go through the rules very quickly, I've got a 20 incident limit, one fast repair as well, so the drivers can carry on in the fight when they do have any issues. And talking about the circuit, Spa-Francorchamps, obviously it's a fantastic circuit. It's probably one of the best that we've got, perfect for F1, and we should see some overtaking today.
Definitely, it's perfect for the F1. There's no extremely high curbs, all the corners are very well suited to this car. There's plenty of runoff areas where you need it, but it's not like a car park like some of the other circuits. And also the track conditions, they are very good for right now. At least the temperature is not too high, the winds are fairly mild, so we should be in for a good race here. Also looking at the qualifiers so far, there is a pretty large difference between first and the back half of the grid, so we will be having some racing all over the field.
Yeah, I think everybody will have someone to race with, and it's always good at the start of a new season, Scott, when that happens, because you go into a league sometimes thinking, am I going to be on my own in the middle of the pack? But there you go, you've got, for instance, 10 cars separated by half a second in the middle of the field.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the difficulty of the F1 car. It's always good to see that there is some close times out there, and yeah, it can always be a little bit frustrating if you're maybe half second off the pace and halfway through the field, halfway through the race you're in the middle of no man's land. So yeah, definitely good to see that the qualifying times at the moment are quite close, and should be a good race today.
Of course, we've got you have a good weekend of action coming up here on Apex Racing TV. We've got the Club 73 Touring Car Championship on Sunday, amongst others, and also, of course, the main event of the week. We're not showing it here, but it's the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I'm sure a lot of you are either competing in or going to be watching, and some of us are going to be doing that as well. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big one. We expect about it's about half Grand Prix distance, isn't it? So you probably get about 20 to 22 laps in this sort of time. So maybe a bit more than that actually. Probably about 32 laps. Sorry, I can't count today. So yeah, should have quite a good race. Should be lots of opportunities for overtaking. Should be a pit stop involved as well, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
we've
think
seen-
the pit stop is not mandatory, but it is open setup, so we'll see.
So some people might go for it, of course, if they decide that the tyre wear is sufficient for them to warrant a pit stop. Just look like some of the drivers having a little bit of an issue out there with the with the rear end actually of the car. So it is one of those cars we've seen in the past where if you overheat the tyres at all, then the rear end becomes very, very unstable. And that's what the driver's going to have to look out for in this one. Right, I'll take you through the the qualifying order, and it's Mitchell McLeod on pole position with 146.279. Evan Lathoris is second, with and Hayden Dodman in third. Jason Hyde fourth. Fifth is Brett Wilson. Sixth is Ricky Coles. Dean Briffer is seventh. Gregory Olsen eighth. Then ninth is Adrian Drummond. And of Alex John in 10th. And it's Alan Morgan 11th, Shane Hammond 12th, Chris Moretta in 13th, Ashley Lear 14th, 15th for Steve Jansen. Then it's Liam Tipping in 16th, Stuart Vaughan 17th, 18th for Mark Noble. It's good to see Mark out there. Long-time friend of ours on Apex Racing TV. Martin Houston is 19th, ahead of Shane Adams. Then it's Matt Webb in 21st, 22nd for Luke Sullivan, 23rd for Jay Kennedy, 24th Phil White, 25th Matthew Williamson, Jamie McKnight 26th, and then it's Matthew Norris 27th, Marcus Konitska in 28th, Nick Cummings 29th, Isaac Edwards 30th, 31st Wade Bailey, 32nd Rolf Just, Lewis Wedding is 33rd, and Wai Han Chan is at the back in 34th. Okay, so we're just about to head down to the grid. Obviously turn one is a big focus point on this first lap. Very, very tight. There is some runoff area to the left if you do get caught out, but might be a struggle for some of these drivers today.
Yeah, definitely,
Yes,
especially with the tight nature of the La Source hairpin. We did see last year's World Championship race. There was big carnage at turn one. So hopefully we don't see this tonight's race. But yeah, it should be a challenge for the drivers. As you say, yeah, there's a bit of a runoff area if you need to avoid that an incident if it is ahead. So yeah, it should be a good cracking start, hopefully.
And Sam, even if they do survive La Source, then you've got the run up the hill through Eau Rouge, up the Kemmel Straight and into Lacombe, where there's guaranteed to be something going on.
Yes, and I was just about to point out the wind. It is coming from south and southeast, so there will be much less grip into La Source, but then you should have no trouble through the Radion and Eros, because there you will have the wind helping you with the downforce. But those higher braking zones for Chicane and La Source, there might be drivers struggling with the grip, as well as through Pujon.
Yeah, Pujon is a corner that is, we'll see it in the middle of the lap, of course, for those who aren't too familiar with the circuit. Big, long left-hander, middle of the in the middle sector. And yeah, we'll see some drivers, no doubt, going off there and struggling. It's a very tricky corner at the best of times. So Mitchell McLeod then is going to be the one who will lead us away. Might be quite tricky. It looks like, looking at the qualifying times, it looks like it could be a two-horse race between the guys in the front row, Mitchell McLeod and Evan Lathoris, but some of the others could come into play as well. We've seen in the past, not always just all about the qualifying pace. Okay then. Red lights coming on here at Spa. Round one of the Oceanic F1 Championship is underway. The green light is on here on Apex Racing TV. Good start by Mitchell McLeod.
Oh, and contact in the midfield.
We're already bashing off each other in the middle of the pack as Lathoris turns it into La Source. And everybody, and we have a spinner. It's Alan Morgan, I think, is it? No, it's not. It is.
Yeah, the traffic came completely to the stop at the La Source.
It was Ashley Lear that was around, apologies, in the first corner. Mitchell McLeod going down the Kemmel Straight. There's a car on the grass going down the straight in the background. How they ended up over there, I have no idea. Up the inside goes Evan Lathoris, and he leads this race in the Oceanic F1 Championship into Lacombe. Through Malmedy now for him. Action behind.
Yeah, we also had Yeah, we also had Matthew Williamson also already taking his fast repair.
Oh, Mr. Gregory Olsen makes a mistake, runs in to, I think that was Jason Hyde that got the worst of that. Cars all over the place as we're starting the race. And there's a spinner as well in coming out of Rivage. Nick Cummings is around. Quite a few incidents on the first lap, and up the inside goes Jason Hyde again on Liam Tipping. And Scott, that was a bit of an ambitious move by Jason Hyde.
Yeah, definitely going up the inside of the Penny chicane. Yeah, Jason managing to jump up the inside of Liam Tipping for the 10th position, and yeah, definitely looking as though that he's catching up to Shane Hammond in the battle for P9 as well.
He's definitely got damage though. He's right in the slipstream of Hammond. He's still flying up the inside. He doesn't care. Might be able to take 2 cars in one go here. He's definitely quick, but I think his judgment needs to be adjusted slightly as on this first lap, as he's really going for it. Up the inside now. He's surely going to go up the inside here. And Alex John is the one that resists that attack this time.
That's 2 spinners out of the final chicane. That's Matthew and Alan Morgan, I believe.
Sorry, Scott, what were you going to say there, mate?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say that.
Let's get you off.
No, that's all good. Yeah, Shane definitely. Oh, sorry, it was Jason Hyde as just trying to jump up the inside of Alex John for position 8. So yeah, Jason Hyde definitely one of the hard charges at the moment. Currently P8. Started in. Oh, it looks as though he started in position 3s. According to the overlay, but yeah, look as though that he's had a solid start, and yeah, definitely trying to push towards the top 5.
Not the best start for Mitchell McLeod, obviously losing that pole position, losing the lead in turn in well, on the first lap, and Evan Lathoris now pulling away slightly. What can McLeod do though? He got the fastest lap in qualifying. You would think he'd be quick during this race. 55 minutes, of course, is the length of this event, and plenty of time to get back up to the front of the field. Just having a quick look through this pack and seeing who's doing what. Got a really good battle actually between 4 cars, starting with the battle for 21st stand between Jay Kennedy, Marcus Wai Han Chan and Shane Adams.
Yeah, looks like
there wasn't another
Shane
car
Adams
in there, but I think they've disappeared actually.
Yeah, and now there's some other problems with the
Oh no,
the
there goes Kennedy. Oh, and Chan comes in, and there's nothing he could do. Hits Kennedy. Kennedy has to go into the pits.
Yeah, look at the replay, and yeah, Kennedy just lost the back end on under braking.
He was lucky that whoever that was in front of him, very, very lucky that they didn't get collected. Matthew Norris and Shane Adams now very close together. This is for 20th and 21st place. And we'll see if Norris has got damage. I think he's really suffering with the straight line speed on that car, because Shane Adams really, really pulling away. Also, DRS is now enabled for Ashley Leah. For those who don't know, of course, for those who don't follow Formula 1, it's fine, we'll help you along. The drag reduction system, or DRS, get within a second of the car in front in predetermined zones on the track. Then there are 2 of them here. Then you will get a speed boost. You open the rear wing, reduce the drag, and that should help you pull towards the car in front.
Yeah, that is a really helpful system on some of these tracks, and it helps make the overtaking easier, especially on these cars that can really suffer when you're trying to follow someone very close and you just lose all the grip. So that's what the DRS is designed to do, to help with the overtaking.
Yeah, it's to try and get you back the time that you lose through turbulent air and things like that, sitting behind another car. In fact, speaking of sitting behind another car, that's exactly what Dean Briffer is having to do at the moment, because Gregory Olsen is filling up his vision, and He's going to have the DRS now, so we'll follow this battle and we'll see exactly what effect the DRS has down the hill towards Eau Rouge. You see this compression at the bottom of the hill, then you fly up this frighteningly fast right-hander and over the top of the left-hander at Radion. And then now we can hit the DRS. He opens the flap. You see the speed difference flying through. Already cleared him. Dean Briffer going through, and there we go, Sam. That's exactly what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it did also look like Gregory Olsen ran a little bit wide on the Radion. So that might have also cost him his own speed there.
A DRS move in play. Oh dear me. That is poor driving. Liam Tipping has just tipped Isaac Edwards around, and he got the DRS move done on Rolf Just, but then he decided that he was just going to do an inexplicable dive up the inside and punting the man off.
Gonna have a quick look at the replay for that particular incident. Yeah, it looks as though it was way too far back, and just unfortunately tagged the car in front, and both of those cars will have damage.
Not what you need at this point, is it? That early?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a short race, is it? That's the thing. So
exactly.
these drivers that are having damage, it's just going to make it worse for the rest of the race. There's Adrian Drummond going on the attack. 7th for looking for P6. Oh, he's trying up the inside. Very nearly collects not Gregory Olsen. Who was that? Oh, Stuart Vaughan, sorry, that is.
Yeah, it was also worth pointing out that was it the overtake Dean Briffer made on Gregory Olsen. Saw that he made the attack up the Camel Straight, but gonna have a look on board with the driver Adrian Drummond. Just
look at the
looking
speed.
at the speed as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks as though that he's got about 20 kilometers an hour advantage, but
oh, fantastic from Stuart Vaughan though to keep that position. I thought he'd lost that for sure.
Yeah, definitely going too wide at the top of Lacombe there. We've seen one or two incidents here in real life, most notably Rosberg and Hamilton. What was it? Last year's race?
2014 now, you know.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was, yeah,
so,
that was, I know time goes by quickly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you definitely see the effect of the DRS being up the Camel Straight. It's definitely more noticeable there compared to the other DRS zone of out of the final corner and onto the exit of the entry to turn 1. So, yeah, that will be mainly where the bulk of the passes is done.
There's another fantastic battle going on here, Sam, for 14th, 15th, 13th, 14th and 15th. That's Luke Sullivan. It looks like he just got ahead of Jamie McKnight, and then you got Chris Moretta as well. So we could see some DRS action here very shortly.
Yeah, just looking at the lap times, it seems like Chris Moretta is the fastest of this bunch. Jamie's lap time was 1:55, whereas Chris Moretta was able to get 1:53 last time by. And here Chris is very close and might be looking to make a pass here in the 1.
And in fact, Jamie McKnight didn't get DRS at all, so he'd fallen back 1 second really, and most of that final sector to Luke Sullivan, who's now clearing off into the distance from these, which is now a 3-way battle because Jason Hyde has now found his way back into the action. And Jamie McKnight going wide over the top of Eau Rouge, that's going to give Moretta a real chance, and he's going to get the DRS also, and that's just going to make that even better for him. He's going to fly up the straight, 330 kilometres an hour, well over 200 miles an hour, and that is enough to get himself into 13th place.
Clean pass there, no problem at all. And now Jamie is instantly under pressure from Jason Hyde from behind him.
He's one of the few already who's got a clean car left. We've got a lot of drivers with a little bit of aero damage on those cars. Shane Hammond is another one with a clean bill of health. He's in 9th. He's ahead of Ricky Coles. So Steve Jansen and then Ricky Coles. But Janssen is closing quickly, actually. I'm actually surprised how quickly that Steve Janssen's closing, Sam, given the fact that he qualified in 15th place and Hammond qualified in 12th.
Well, at least on this track, you get a significant advantage if you can get some kind of grab on your qualify lap. So I don't think we should make any major adjustments based on the qualifier times. It's really the race pace that matters here. As we see Janssen trying the outside line.
He has the DRS as well, but he's got a little bit of damage. So what's he going to try? Is he going to try the cutback through La Source? He is. Has he got that right? It looks like he has. That's very, very good indeed. And that is the perfect cutback. I think Ricky Coles has spun, by the way. Scott, I don't know if you can find that on the replay there, mate, but that is a spin for Ricky Coles coming out of La Source. Just got on the power too early, it looks like.
Yeah, just ran back the replay out of the exit of the final corner. Just fairly normal line for Ricky Coles coming into turn 1. Yeah, just got on the power too hard and too early.
And Shane Hammond. Sorry, Scott, I do apologise. Shane Hammond has stopped at the exit of Eau Rouge, and the reason why that is that he repassed Steve Janssen on the way down to Eau Rouge, turns it into Eau Rouge, and he loses the car at the top of the hill, hits the inside wall hard, and does extremely well, I must say, to get it off the racing line before anybody comes through. So that is a big one for Shane Hammond.
Just looked as though that he fortunately bottomed out on the top of Radion.
So easy to do there, isn't it? The car gets light and
yeah,
can
exactly.
so easily destroy your race.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're on 300 plus kilometers an hour up the top of there. And yeah, once it goes light, you pretty much got no control.
He will get a fast repair though if he wants. You know, he's in the pits. If he wants to use his fast tow, he'll be able to, and he'll be able to get back out there. He might be one lap down or so, but that could be it. Having a look at the front as well. We haven't covered these guys for a little while. Evan Lathoris leading, and he's leading fairly comfortably by 2.7 seconds over Mitchell McLeod. Aidan Dodman is in third, 1.5 seconds behind him. Then it's Brett Wilson, 4-second gap behind, and then it's Dean Briffer, who's 1.5 behind Brett. So the top 5 look like they're doing a pretty good race so far. Nice and easy, and like I said, they'll be hoping that it stays that way for the rest of it. Stuart Bourne is in 6th, Adrian Drummond 7th, 8th Gregory Olsen, 9th is Steve Janssen, and 10th now is Luke Sullivan. So Sullivan's had a very good race so far. Sam is up from 22nd on the grid.
Yeah, that's a good progress. Just being able to keep the car clean, avoid the incidents. As I just saw, was that Jamie McKnight going off in the turn 15 and ended up with heavily damaged car, and he is currently pitting.
Oh yeah, that's before Blanchimont, isn't it? Where on earth is that he's gone off? Turf Paul Frere. How has he ended up out there? Did he get a tap? No, he just loses.
He just lost on the exit.
And he got the classic overcorrection. Flew into the outside wall. Yeah, he has got his fast repair though. He's going to come back out. He's going to come back out just a lap down. Oh, Dean Briffer has caught Hayden Dodman. That did not take long at all. And Dodman did a 156.7 that last time by. So that was a bad lap for him. We didn't see exactly what happened. But he's got... Oh, has he got some... Not like he's got any damage, Scott, but he's now been passed by DRS. Or has he?
Yeah, just coming up. Yeah, it looks as though that Briffer's managed to jump up into the 4th position, passing Hayden Dodman. Great move from him. Yeah, just looked as though that the power of the DRS was able for Briffer to jump past Dodman. Dodman last time 156.7 plays a 151.3. So yeah, prefer catching up about 5.4 seconds the last time around. And
yeah, I can tell you what happened to Dortmund. He spun at the Wuhan. He got no damage, so that shouldn't cause any major issues other side, aside from the time loss.
Again, it's one of those things you just cannot. It's one of those things you can't really afford to do. Or spinning a race like this because it does cost you a heck of a lot of time. I know that's stating the bleeding obvious, isn't it? But Chris Moretta, also stating the bleeding obvious, is that Chris Moretta is going through on Luke Sullivan, and he's now up into the top 10. So very good from Moretta, who Sam said was going quickly earlier on. And now at the back of the pack is a man who's already been involved in a few things. That's Jason Hyde. And it looks like Hyde is going through straight away, Sam. He's blasted past him on the outside.
Yeah,
obviously running a low downforce set.
It might be that Sullivan was recharging the battery.
And it could be that too. Of course, these cars are very, very complicated. And we mentioned DRS earlier on. That's actually one of the simpler things on this car. Got the energy recovery system, because these are all hybrids. I think it's 1.6 litre hybrids. And the energy recovery system, of course, they get energy through the braking. Is then turned into power for the electric motor. You have a petrol engine as well. It's a very small one. Now Jason Hyde is going to use the DRS to make his way through on Chris Moretta, is he? Yes, late on the brakes. And into Lecou. And through. So he's now up into the top 10.
Something I've noticed while watching those incidents, it seems like most of them have been in the corners where you have a tailwind. So maybe the drivers were testing under different kind of conditions.
Yeah, I think.
And were not prepared for that.
Matthew Williamson going slowly. Not in aid, obviously. He had an incident, or no? I think he's just letting the leaders through. Being very gentlemanly about it, though, I must admit. I wouldn't have been that polite, Scott. I know that.
That's it, yeah. Worth pointing out as well that Evan Lathoris has got a 5.5 second gap currently over Mitchell McLeod, so yeah, Lathoris stretching his legs. Evan McLeod last time around, he pulled out a 8/10 of a second gap on McLeod. So yeah, Lathoris definitely punching above his weight at the moment.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether... I thought he'd be able to take the fight to McLeod, but I didn't think he'd just come up and pretty much dominate the race like he is doing. He's doing a fantastic job out there. And looking at Jason Hyde in 10th position. So the drivers, also something else they have to look out for is that there is a red light on the back of the car, and when the battery is being recharged, when harvesting is taking place, red light will flash, and that will indicate that the car in front might be slow. So yeah, just something else to look out for a little bit. Look at the front wing, by the way, on Steve Jansen's car in 9th position. It's really, really mangled, and no wonder he's a bit slow in the straight line, Sam, with that.
Yeah, he's definitely been into some battles, and if he is going to take a pit stop, I would expect him to replace it. Replace the rear wing, front wing in this car. It doesn't take that long, but you really don't want to have to replace the rear wing as well, because that is much bigger process.
Can't even fight with Jason Hyde. That's how much he's struggling out there at the minute. But I think if he does take the pit stop, and like I say, if he does take the nose change, which he should, then I think he'd still be relatively out in front of Waihan Chan. So he'll lose positions to these guys who he's fighting with, but I think he was going to lose those anyway, if I'm honest. So yeah, I think it's not going to affect his race too much. Very close battle now, shaping up for 3rd position. Brett Wilson, Hayden Dodman, Stuart Vaughan, all within... oh, well, he was Stuart Vaughan, but has he had a poor lap, I wonder? Oh no, Stuart Vaughan wasn't involved in that, so my bad. Brett Wilson versus Hayden Dodman, sir.
Let's see, Dodman is in the draft at least, he should be.
He
But
didn't
doesn't-
open his DRS for ages, did he?
Yeah, maybe he kind of forgot there.
You
But
get
he
a
is still in
little,
the half a second.
you get little lights on the steering wheel, Scott. That obviously when the DRS is available, but it's not always really easy to see if you're focusing, is it?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the triple screens, especially if you've got a particular FOV that you run that looks proper. But yeah, just running through the lights on the steering wheel. One green light will mean that you are in the detection zone and within a second. Two green lights, you'll be able to activate it within that DRS zone, and with the 4 green lights, it means that the DRS is open, and more likely to overtake the car in front is Dodman's closed right up on the back of Brett Wilson, heading up into the bus stop chicane, looking for a move, but just managed to pull it up, avoiding Wilson, but it looks as though they've got a bit of traffic up ahead.
Now
coming up to start lap number 12.
So it does enable DRS now. DRS isn't that effective, Sam, in that particular straight, but it's more to just keep you within a reasonable distance so that you can get this run down the hill, up Eau Rouge, and then open the DRS when you get to the top of the hill.
Yes, this is really that prime overtaking spot with the DRS. As we see, Dodman 4 tenths behind. Now the DRS opens. Wilson defends the inside line. Is Dodman able to close in? Not quite, and Brett Wilson doesn't even have to defend that hard.
It could be, like we said earlier on, that Spa is one of those tracks where, in reality, the F1 team's always going about the fact that it's very difficult to set the car up and make a good compromise between downforce and top speed. And you can get similar results with differing setups. So it may be that Wilson has a bit less downforce than what Dodman has, because, like I say, he wasn't really closing at all in the DRS. Because it seems like Wilson's very good in this middle part of the lap, but then doesn't get as close maybe as he'd like later on.
Yes, it really does seem like Dodman is on much more downforce here. Because compared to some other drivers on overtakes we've seen, the DRS effect has been used. So, I don't know, maybe he just didn't have the battery on that time, because you can combine the DRS and the battery. So if, let's say, Wilson was defending using the battery, then that might have also explained it.
That is a good point. You can be on full power, full sort of discharge of the battery, and that will give you a little bit of a boost. Should we go on board? I'll tell you what, should we go on board with Hayden Dodman, and we'll see what effect this DRS has. As he's going down the main straight, that looks decent to me. He's very late on the brakes, though. That won't help him. He overshoots the corner slightly, the lap traffic on the side there. Now he's really in a good position. But can he follow through one of the trickiest corners in Formula 1? Look at the dirty air he got there. Really had to get out of it. Car unsettled. Now he can open the flap on the rear wing. And I think Sam, I think you were right. I think that Wilson looks like he's using his battery once he gets to the top of the hill and not necessarily before then. So what it looks like to me, because he was closing in quite well down the main straight.
Yes, and there we also saw the effect of what happens when you run too close to the other driver into the corners. But Dodman just had no grip entering into Eau Rouge and just completely messed up the entry.
This is Pouon. This is the corner that you were talking about before, and it's got very tricky left-hander that. And leading into this final chicane section, which again the dirty air is going to come into play slightly here.
Yeah,
Dodman has so much more confidence under. Yeah, Dodman has much more confidence under the brakes and closing in every single time.
By the way, look at the marbles flying off of Wilson's car and hitting. You can hear them hitting Hayden Dodman's car as they fly off the rear tyres of Wilson.
Yeah, for sure. It's, yeah, they're both coming up to the bus stop now. Also, always Wilson makes a small mistake, corrects it, and allows Dobman to close back up. But yeah, it's worth noting that Dobman closed up quite rapidly on the entry to the Eau Rouge, and definitely had to check up a little bit last time. So that probably what cost him. You definitely want to be about, I'd say, 3 or 4 tenths back at least, so that you don't compromise your run through Eau Rouge and Radion, and also is much closer this time.
This is better, so he's going to open the DRS now. I think Wilson is trying to use the battery to defend, but it might not be enough alongside, and Wilson's late on the brakes. And can he get it stopped? Can Tomlin go around the outside here? That'd be a good move if he can do it. Oh, Wilson switched on the outside, but I think he's failed in that attempt to keep that position. Hayden Dodman going through into 3rd place. That was a good battle.
Yeah, definitely. Looks as though that Wilson bottomed out on the curb at Malmedy, which allowed Dodman to take full advantage of that overtake, and it's a great move from from Dodman to get around. It was Dodman has a bit of a twitch and has to run wide at Prawn, so Wilson backed her up into the podium position, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dodman would be able to close up quite quickly. We've still got under half.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that we've just coming up to half distance now, so would be an opportune time for pit stops if they are to happen.
Stuart Vaughan's been disqualified, by the way. So that's quite a good effort to get 20 incidents in what amounts to about 30 minutes around here. So yeah, quite a. He's been disqualified. I think someone else got disqualified as well. I'm just trying to work out.
That Wilson had a spin out of the exit of out of the bus stop and has allowed Dodman through, and he's currently up in 2nd place on timing screen. Not sure. It looks as though that McLeod's in the pit lane, so he's just taking a set of tyres, 4-second pit stop. And he'll be back out. Currently rejoins in 4th place, just in front of Gregory Olsen.
We had Marcus Konitska retiring on the previous lap. He crashed, so he's out. Yeah, we've lost a few drivers already. We've lost Lewis Wedding, Jay Kennedy, Cummings, Alan Morgan, Alex John, Matthew Williamson, Marcus Konitska, and the latest victim, Stuart Vaughan. But again, I mean, you know, 20 incident limit I think is reasonably generous. I know it's a 55-minute race, but you know, you've got to work with what you're given, and you know, very early to get disqualified, I must admit.
Yeah, it's just you get a couple of extra incident points compared to the Grand Prix Series race. Standard
Wilson.
official.
Oh dear, sorry Scott. Wilson coming out of curve Paul Frere, sorry, very sideways, and just manages to hold on to it, but it's not been a good couple of laps for him.
Yeah, it looks as though that struggling a little bit with the tyres. We've noticed that he's out of the bus stop.
Might want to get in and get some new ones. And he hasn't.
Yeah, I think he might be turning through the pit lane this time. I was looking at it on the replay, and it was a very good save from Wilson there to hold on. But yeah, it cost him probably at least a second by the time he gets back up to speed. And that
Mitchell McLeod's been in the pits, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Because he's just come out. I was going to say he's just come out behind Wilson. He's just passed him on the way towards Eau Rouge. So this is the point of the race now, Sam, where Mitchell McLeod will be trying to use the new tyres, trying to get what's called the undercut to gain some time on Lathoris before he pits.
Yes, and he is in a very good spot for it because I don't see traffic ahead of him. So now he's got a clear track to just run his lap times. Although usually running a little bit longer tends to help. As we see Ivan Lathoris coming through the later half of half of the track, and he might even be getting a DRS from the lapped car in front of him.
I think the smart thing for Lathoris would be to pit now, though, because it just reduces the risk of that undercut getting out of control. But he carries on. Like you say, he will get that DRS usage, but he doesn't use it going down there. Maybe he wasn't quite close enough. I don't know. It's a bit tight.
Yeah, let's just pay attention to the lap times. Lathoris' lap time was 50.1. Let's see what kind of lap time McLaren is able to run.
Yeah, this is his first lap, his first full lap out of the pits as well. So he did his outlap was a 2:07, reasonable outlap. Then he's coming through the bus stop chicane now. Good drive off the corner. They're using those fresh tyres. There's a 1:49.1, so 1 second quicker. He was about 5 or 6 seconds behind, wasn't he? I think so. Yeah, it's going to take a bit more than that, but the more laps Lathoris stays out for, I think the better it's going to be for Mitchell McLeod.
But Lathoris is currently still behind the lap car in front, so I don't think this is really helping him at all.
Yeah, and that's Dean Briffer, who was in the top 5, and I think he's had to take a fast tow. I think he's been in trouble somewhere because one of his laps was 3 minutes and 7 seconds. So yeah, that's why Briffer is a lap down at the moment.
Also worth pointing out that the gap between Lathoris and McLeod at the moment it is currently 30.4 seconds, but Lathoris can go into the end. We've still got just over 22 minutes to go. We're currently looking at about, I would say, maybe 10 or 11 laps to go, possibly 12. So at the current lap delta, Lathoris will still win, provided that he doesn't come into pit.
150.0 this time for Evan Lathoris, and it's definitely looking good for him. But again, it's not looking good for him if he wants to make another pit stop, because that's the point where he is being closed in by Mitchell McLeod. 49.1 for McLeod in the last lap, but we'll see as he enters the bus stop. I think this one's going to be quicker because he didn't have anything to do on this lap apart from drive that McLaren MP430 as fast as he can. 49.2, so 0.8 of a second again. But again, that's not going to be enough, like you say, if Lathoris stays out. Of course, no mandatory pit stop here, but you can take one if you want, and that's what McLeod did. He didn't really have a lot to lose, though, Sam, by pitting when he did, because he was always going to emerge in second place anyway.
Yeah, I think he needs to do something different to have a chance at winning. And right now, at this pace, well, he is doing everything he can, and now it's really up to Lathoris and what he decides to do, and how he decides to handle with the traffic. Because right now he still has 2 cars in front of him, which is not going to help him at all.
Car off. Wade Bailey was a lap down. He's really suffering out there, I think, with something, so might even be a technical issue for him. Because of course the other school of thought, Sam, is that you could go fairly long, he could still make his pit stop, and then he would have very fresh tyres at the end of the race if he wants to try and
a major incident.
Overtake McLeod.
Who was that?
Oh, that was Briffer and Phil White. That was the two cars that oh, he just hit him up the rear. Briffer just runs into Phil White. And White up and over. I'm going to see if I want to go on board with Dean Briffer on that one, because there might have been more than meets the eye on this. See, so he's closing, going through. Ah, White's very slow through the corner, Scott, but I'd still think that Briffer could have possibly avoided that.
Yeah, I'd like to say that closing speed from Briffer onto White. Didn't anticipate it, and Briffer was just got a bit of a reduced downforce, obviously due to the cut being the car behind White, and just couldn't couldn't avoid the car in front. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate incident through the Blanchimont corner, and unfortunately both of those drivers are they're either damaged or out of this race.
We've lost Wei Han Chan, who had moved up into the top 15 from 34th on the grid, but I believe he's just been disqualified. A few drivers dropping like flies out there. Still got a good number running though. Still, somebody we've not mentioned today is Martin Houston. He's in 12th position at the moment. Got a lot of damage on that car, but he's still running. Main thing at this point. Just have a quick look at the lap times then. At the front, 150.335 for Evan Lathoris. He's just on a 49.8, so that's a good lap time, having not pitted for any new tyres. At that rate, Sam is definitely going to win the race if he keeps that up.
Yeah, he has been running the consistent pace. So it might be that he is going for a no-stopper here. And Mitchell McLeod might be just looking at the time screens and see his chance of victory slipping away.
He does do a 49.1 though. Like I say, Lathoris at this point, he's still probably better staying out. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, you could... I think he should have pitted anyway, purely because of the fact that he was always going to come out in front of McLeod. But again, each to their own. That's what he's trying. He's trying the long stint, the full race stint. But I don't know. It's just for me the risk with that strategy, Sam, is the fact that if the tyres do fall off a cliff at the end of the race, then you can't just come in and get the new tyres on and go, okay, now I've still got the advantage.
That's true, but also I think some of these drivers might have more experience running their full length. So maybe Lathoris is more comfortable with that and prefers that strategy, and just to get into the rhythm of lapping the full race distance.
Of course, his fuel is coming down all the time, so I suppose it's making it easier on the tyres with every single lap. We'll see what he does this time. He's driving very nicely out there, I have to say, Evan Lathoris. Over the line he comes then to start lap 22, which will be half Grand Prix distance, 150.6. And it won't be long before we get McLeod coming through. They've driven very well, Scott. We said it might possibly be a 2-horse race at the start, and these two have proved that.
Yeah, definitely. Evan competing in the official iRacing Grand Prix series over the past couple of seasons, and yeah, he's definitely shaping as though that he'll be one of the future contenders through the Pro Series, and if he decides to compete in that one, yeah, he should be a pretty strong force in that series. Looking as though that'll be season 4, 2017, and season 1, 2018. So definitely looking forward to that.
Very good lap, by the way, by Mitchell McLeod, 48.8. But again, it could well be too little, too late. At this point, he's still 26.3 seconds behind. We're going to have a battle on for P5, I think, shortly as well. Chris Moretta is ahead of Gregory Olsen. So, and it looks like Olsen, Sam, is going to have the DRS here.
Yeah, I've been looking at this back for the second half top 10, and Gregory Olsen has been moving up. As I also saw Adrian Drummond struggling with the cars.
And Moretta also had the DRS that time, so Olsen wasn't really able to make any inroads.
No, but Olsen has been very fast for these past few laps, so I would expect him to make a move at least to the final chicane.
Yeah, 50.2 for him last time, 52.3 for Moretta, so it might only be a matter of time here for Olsen. He only qualified 8th, and he's showing great pace in the race. With Pouon and into the final chicane. technical section. Sorry.
Yeah, and keeping fairly close. In that about 4/10 gap.
About the best you can do through there, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to follow too close. Yeah, this is where you start to catch up.
Now, is he going to make the move before the bus stop chicane, or is he going to wait? I think he's going to wait. That's a sensible thing. I think use the DRS. I think both men hard on the brakes. Moretta slightly wide. Every little thing is going to help Gregory Olsen. On the DRS. May just make the move here in La Source. Going to try the outside. All the way around. Oh, nearly loses the car and does lose the car. Lifeline for Chris Moretta. Just went in a little bit too hot there, Scott.
Yeah, definitely. With the cambered nature of the apex of the source, also added in sort of going a bit sideways, but yeah, definitely, as you say, lifeline for Moretta, and yeah, looks as though that Olsen's close right back up onto the gearbox of Moretta, so yeah, it should be within the next lap or so that that Olsen will be past Moretta. Or just as we see, Moretta having a bit of a twitch, and that allows Olsen to go up the inside into the fender chicane. Great move from Olsen, as it's quite a tricky section through the fender chicane, and he's up into 5th place. Gap to Wilson is 1.9 seconds.
Just comparing the lap times, at this pace, Olsen should be able to catch up to Wilson very quickly.
Yeah, I think
already gained 3/10.
Yeah, he's quick, isn't he? And I think that'll probably be as far as he can go in this race. I would imagine is 4th. I don't think he can get any higher than that. It still shows, though, doesn't it, that even after 24 laps, we've still got a good competitive race, because 15 seconds separates these 6 drivers, which is no, I know that sounds like a fair amount, but still, that's pretty good in terms of the. Still pretty good, really, in terms of the competitiveness of the series. I think those guys are the drivers. I think the organisers are going to be fairly happy with that. I think, Scott.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely with the front two, Lathoris and McLeod showing that they had great qualifying pace, but McLeod taking the stop and opting for the new tyres created that 32-second gap that it nearly is now. Lathoris last time around at 50.8, and McLeod had a bit of a slow one for 52.8, so he lost a couple of seconds. But yeah, there's definitely been some close racing throughout the field. Been great action. Still got just over 10.5 minutes to go, and yeah, as you say, be a one for the organisers to definitely build on. We've still got 2 rounds in the series to go.
Yeah, it's the first round of a new series. Always going to be some challenges getting a new league ready and going, and this is a really good start. Enjoyed the racing here this afternoon. Evening if you're in Australia, New Zealand, of course. Evan Lathoris has really enjoyed the racing actually this afternoon, because he's 31 seconds clear and there are just over 10 minutes remaining. He's only got to do about another 7 laps of this Spa-Francorchamps circuit. He'll be taking home maximum points.
Yes, at this pace he will be looking to win this, unless he somehow runs out of fuel. But I think he's been able to just save the fuel if needed, just to not take any kind of risks. He doesn't need to take any kind of risk. That's a 30-second gap. as he comes through the chicane very cleanly.
The word on the point system. 80 points you get for first place, then it's 75, then 70, 64, 62, 60, and then small increments down to 40 points for 20th place, then a point less for every place thereafter. So, yeah, there are a lot of points up for grabs. You also get 2 points for pole position, so that would be going to Mitchell McLeod. You get 2 points for the fastest lap, and leading a lap gets you 3 points as well. So that will be music to the ears of Evan Lathoris, certainly. Who's got the fastest lap, actually? Do we know? I'm imagining it's that Mitchell McLeod 48.
Yeah, that is the fast as far as I can see. No, Jason Hyde has 48.6.
Wow. See, he would have been up there, but he was just too aggressive at the start, and he would have been definitely in the running for something. He's not as consistent as the front two, but he might have been able to give them a little bit of an issue, at least make them think about the strategy a little bit more than they've had to. So, yeah, it's but that's lessons to be learned for next time for him, I think.
He has also pitted multiple times previously on lap 20.
Yeah, he will have had damage after that first the contact on the first lap. Of course, that we mentioned he went up the inside into Rivage of someone, I can't remember actually who it was now, but yeah, that's
and movement in the midfield. What happened here?
Drummond's around.
Yeah, Drummond's around, and might be something with Brett Wilson.
Oh, in fact, Drummond crashes at the top of the hill, big one, and that might be the end of his race. I wonder if he can get it back and get a fast repair. I know he's going to try and get it back to the pits, but that might just be his race done.
Wilson? Yeah, why did Wilson get disqualified there?
Wilson get disqualified, did he?
Yeah.
Have a look.
Wilson was ahead of Drummond going in the Arouge.
Did you see what happened clearly there at all?
Yeah, this is as you say, yeah, Drummond had the overtake on Wilson through bottom of Overage, but could have been possible contact, very, very slight contact that might have given him 4x, and that may have pushed him over the incident limit. As you don't see Brett Wilson on the timing screen.
Yeah, because the problem is that even if there was the tiniest bit of neck contact, what would normally be a 0x, I think the fact that Drummond lost it and crashed would have definitely given Wilson a 4x, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I didn't think there was any contact though. It didn't look like there was.
No, from the camera angle that I saw, it definitely didn't look as though there was. But if the incident
I'm just going to look at it.
iRacing, yeah,
I'm just going to look at it from Wilson's point of view.
Yes, just to clarify for the viewers, the way it works in iRacing is that if you give the driver a small nudge and they crash into the wall, you will get also the same penalty, same incident points as the other driver. That is just to discourage from bumping the drivers off.
Yeah, and even just to discourage people from just nudging drivers off, because obviously, you know, people would think, oh yeah, I can do that and only receive 0 incidents for it, or maybe 1 or something, but yeah, if the other driver spins or crashes or whatever, that's the 4x. That's why you generally see in a lot of those big pileups that we sometimes see in the touring cars and things like that. That's why you tend to see a lot more disqualifications, because everything is linked, isn't it? So the first driver hitting the second driver, who then hits the 10th driver, then pretty much gets a 4x for it. So even if they're not directly involved in the crash, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's reset then, as we've just lost a few drivers, unfortunately. Evan Lathoris.
We lost 3 more. Mitchell McLeod.
What? McLeod is gone. And that's at the top of Eau Rouge as well. Where did he lose it? Oh, he lost it coming around the right-hand part, and then it twitched into the wall and demolishes his car. He's still going. he might still be able to get a fast repair. I don't know whether it's probably worth it though. We'll see what sort of lap times he can do when he comes round. But yeah, Eau Rouge claiming some victims this afternoon. Wow.
Yeah, and that's a really weird one because you don't usually see the car losing control on that bit when you're turning in.
It's usually the top of the hill where we saw Drummond lose it, obviously, and a couple of others earlier on in the race. So McLeod he's still in second place though. So amazingly, he is still going and he is still in second place. Can he hold on to that? I'm not sure. He's got about 5 minutes to go. It's about 3 laps, Scott, isn't it? So I don't know.
Yeah, it looks to say that the camera angle I saw that McLeod may have clipped the inside curb of Eau Rouge, might have hooked the car a little bit more than anticipated, and that's maybe what fired McLeod into the inside wall at the top of Radion. So yeah, McLeod's still going. We've still got about 2 laps to go, I would say. Whereas the Thoris, he's coming up the top of the Kemmel Straight now, so I would say that there's about 2 laps to go in the race.
I must admit though, you see a crash like that and you think, well, that definitely should have been punished more than what it has been for McLeod. I mean, Sam, sometimes you get the slightest nudge on the wall and you break the suspension, and he's full on stacked at 180 miles an hour and he's still going.
Yeah, I don't think I would have the confidence to go through the Wuhan at that speed after that kind of incident, and especially through the Radion. Look at his speed, he might be slightly down.
I'm amazed he didn't lose the nose cone or a wheel or something at least.
Yeah, just saying.
What is he? 11 seconds ahead of Dodman now. So, Dodman's lapping quickly.
Yeah, I've just seen the overtake for pin number 7, Jason Hyde on Luke Sullivan, going through Curva Paul Frere. Great from Jason Hyde to get back up into 7th place. Last time around he did a 50.7. Sullivan had a bit of a poor lap last time around with a 54.5. So yeah, it looks as though that with the current gap up to Chris Moretta, it looks as though that P7 will be all that Jason Hyde will be able to achieve with still got just over a minute and a half to go.
Sullivan's done no stops and he's now suffering with his tyres a bit. Evan Lathoris did a 56.3 on the previous lap. What's that all about? Oh no, he pitted. He must have pitted then, did he?
No, I've just seen a bit of traffic ahead.
He's going slowly. What's happening?
He's in heavy traffic.
No, but he's just been overtaken by 2 cars.
I will try to find out.
He
what
was
happened.
in front of those cars just a second ago. And like I said, I think he has. I think he saw. Don't know. No, he's still 20 seconds ahead of McLeod, so he can't have pitted. But he's just going very, very slowly compared to the cars in front. And his previous lap was 2 minutes, 0.6. He must have had a bin or a crash or something. And even the lap before it was 1:56. I wonder if his tyres have just gone off the cliff.
Quite possible.
Yeah. I just looked through his previous 2 laps, and there is nothing that would indicate issue. And what's that car up?
It's not fuel, is it? It's not fuel, is it? Please don't tell me he's going to run out of fuel.
It must be either that or the tires.
Because he is so slow at the minute. It's unbelievable.
Oh, and check Jamie McKnight's car. That is definitely not fuel or tires, but that's completely something else.
That's yeah. I think he's had a head-to-head with something. Let's have a look. Oh, it's coming out of the corner with no name. Oh, one wheel on the Astro into the wall, and that's the tiniest little hit. That's the tiniest little hit to the wheels, and now he can't drive it. And we saw what McLeod did. He absolutely stacks it, and he carries on. Unbelievable. And this is the end of the race now. So Lathoris comes across. Checkered flag flies, and he wins round 1 of the Oceanic F1 Championship. That was very close on the timing there. Only just coming across to take the checkered flag in time. And Mitchell McLeod, well, he'll be looking at his You'll consider that a bit of a let-off. That he manages to take second place after the big crash that he had. Hayden Dodman, a fantastic drive from him in third position. Everyone in the top 5 really drove very, very well. And Gregory Olsen, he's going to be the next man across through the chicane. And over the line he comes to take 4th position. He'll be very, very happy indeed with that. Steve Janssen, I bet he didn't think when he qualified 15th that he was going to be gracing the top 5. Indeed, that's what he's doing. E5 for Steve Janssen. Chris Moretta, likewise, he qualified 13th and he finishes in 6th. Jason Hyde was up there, wasn't he? But a bit of poor judgment, poor driving. But he's done a good second half of the race to come back and finish in 7th. Ahead of Luke Sullivan. And we still got battle on the last lap. Sam, between Leah and Houston. Oh, not Houston, sorry. I don't know who that was. No, that was a lap car. So that was Leah, Ashley Leah, going through on lap traffic for 9th. Sorry, I thought there was... I thought it was Matthew Webb's car, actually. Similar colour on my screen.
Yeah, no worries there. Well,
Oh,
they
Webb
are
going
still
up the
battling
inside
through
of
the
the lap.
penalty game.
Oh! Webb flying up the inside into the final chicane. Houston is going to come across and get 11th place, I think. There we go. So, to run through the finishing order then. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, round 1 of the Oceanic F1 Championship. Evan Lathoris winning by 17.9 seconds over Mitchell McLeod, who was on the pole. Hayden Dodman in 3rd, Gregory Olsen 4th, Steve Janssen 5th, Chris Moretta in P6. Jason Hyde was 7th, Luke Sullivan 8th, 9th, Ashley Leah, 10th Matt Webb, and 11th was Martin Houston. Matthew Norris took P12 with Ricky Coles in 13th, Dean Briffer 14th, 15th Jamie McKnight, who just about finished the race in the end, just about made it to finish 2 laps down. Rolf Just was 2 laps down, and then Mark Noble 3 laps down, Wade Bailey likewise, Adrian Drummond 4 laps down, and then the cars that retired: Brett Wilson, Shane Hammond, Shane Adams, Liam Tipping, Wei Han Chan, Bill White, Isaac Edwards, Stuart Vaughan, Marcus Konitska, Matthew Williamson, Alex John, Alan Morgan, Nick Cummings, Jake Kennedy, and Lewis Wedding. I don't think he took the start actually at all. Well, gentlemen, always a great thing when we start a new series here on Apex Racing TV. We don't know whether obviously we're going to be doing any of the other ones, as this is just a one-off for that we think at the moment. But Scott, that was enjoyable, and good to see the F1 cars back on our channel.
Yeah, definitely. It's always great to see F1 series on Apex Racing TV, having previously covered iRacing Pro Series last year and the iRacing Grand Prix Series throughout 2016 and 17. So it's always great to have the F1 series on Apex Racing TV, but also it's a credit to the organisers as well to organise an Australian F1 Championship as well. It's not very often that you see an F1 series in Australian time zones, mainly due to the official SOFs being between 10 PM and midnight on a Sunday Australian time. So it's definitely a credit to the organisers for organising this series.
It is. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here on Apex Racing TV for the Oceanic F1 Championship. Hopefully, we will be back. We have enjoyed it here, and with any luck, we may be seeing you guys again for more from the series next week. Okay, thank you, everybody, and we'll be back at the weekend for more action here on Apex Racing TV. We will see you then.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshields at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?